on our job, on our
Nag-record ako,
what
naririnig
do
ka
we
dito
call
eh.
this,
Sa
vocation.
recording.
And I also believe that being a teacher is not just a profession, but this is also our ito yung ating vocation. And it's also I consider also this is our ministry for being a person, of being a Christian. Next is their passion is infectious and also very inspiring. They are highly committed to their goals and also help others in achieving theirs. Passionate leaders elevate productivity and ensure that the employees commit to their vision. Passion helps lead Passion helps leaders to instill motivation in their employees and helps to achieve the desired vision. 19th qualification is resilience. Leaders must be tough enough to fight, tender enough to cry, human enough to make mistakes, humble enough to admit them, strong enough to absorb the pain, and resilient enough to bounce back and keep on moving. This is stated by Jess Jackson. One must understand their self before taking responsibility for others. Resilient leaders are perspective and also know how to handle themselves in any good or bad situation. I just want to quote what Ma'am Marilyn shared this morning about what she experienced being ahead of one of her previous school. It's really for us teachers or for us to be aspiring leaders, we really have to be um, as mentioned by Ma'am kanina, dapat mag-stick tayo. We must be yung ano yung prinsipyo natin. We must stand to what we are ating what we call this, the pinaninindigan. Kailangan hindi tayo matitinag kung ano yung dapat at kung ano yung kailangan gawin. Hindi tayo dapat napuprovoke into whatever the others want us to be. Kung alam natin kung ano yung dapat, we know what is right and what is wrong. Resilient leaders are capable of retaining their energy level under strain and responding to disrupted changes. They also overcome severe challenges without destructive behavior or hurting others. Resilient leaders are high-performing leaders who recover from any adversity positively. Next is accountability. Being an accountable leader is not an easy task, and that is very, very true. Experience po natin yan for how many years of being a teacher. It means you can own up to commitments and promises you made. We do not have to be compromised. It means being answerable to the actions and decisions made by you and by those you lead. Accountable leaders establish clear goals and targets. They focus on the future and also own up to their mistakes. They ask for help when needed and provide honest and constructive feedback. As Bob Proctor stated, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the results. Di po ba? Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. Next is supportive. Leadership without support is like trying to make bricks without enough straw. True leaders reinforce their ideas and plans with strategic partnerships, alliances, and supportive audiences. Reid Markan said, supportive leaders give the guidance that you need. Supportive leaders mentor us, guides us. Till we need little to no supervision in the future. They do not believe in delegating tasks and expecting results right away. They are with us in the process and support us with their knowledge and experiences. Am I right, Mama Rilin?
Agree, agree.
Supportive leadership also involves building trust among the team and members and encouraging dialogue to keep the team spirit high. Ang supportive leadership po, hindi po nananahimik lang. When we do mistake, they have to tell us. If we do maganda, if
Wait
we
lang, ma.
excel, we also have to lead from them the appreciation. Di po ba? That makes us more uh, um, um, maging mas magpursige. We really need appreciation. We also need, and we have to, of course, we teachers have a big room for improvement. So the fundamentals of supportive leadership are therefore promoting teamwork, building relationship, and commitment. Now, qualification of a good leader nowadays, especially in our time of pandemic, we leaders or good leaders should be tech savvy, or we have to be more kailangan mas matutunan natin yung mga bagay-bagay, especially about technology, computers, mga rami tayong application that we need to apply with our task po nowadays. For digital transformation, the world needs tech-savvy leaders. Today's leader needs to understand the technology sufficiently to sustain their business. The organization technology decision must be guided with a strategy and transforming its analogy experience into digital. Nowadays, we have a lot of webinars. We have many sponsors for us to learn, especially using our new technology, different applications for us to be more effective, more efficient teachers for our students, especially the online teaching that we use nowadays. The majority of the companies worldwide are digital today, and it will only grow exponentially with time. Therefore, it becomes evident that business leaders enhance technological skills for sustainability and making better decisions. Sukrant Ratnakar says, our future success is directly proportional to ability to understand, adapt, and integrate new technology into our work. Next is empathy. This is also mentioned a while ago. Empathy is a core leadership trait that helps you nurture your team. Empathy is in understand others' needs and what goes into their mind. We live in a world with a constant communication loop, and people interact with each other at much as ease. But at the same time, people are less empathetic towards each other. Many communicate to express but not to understand others' perspectives. Empathetic leaders are perceptive rather, and they are aware of others' feelings and thinking. Being empathetic does not always mean to agree on others' views, but to appreciate and have willingness to understand. And that's the real meaning of empathetic. Oprah Winfrey also quoted this. She stated that leadership is about empathy. It is about having ability to relate to and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. Next is the learning agility. Agile leaders make the best response to organizational change and uncertainty. Today, we need leaders who are quicker in decision making and who can take immediate action in crisis times. We live in a fast-paced world, and work trends are evolving in no time. Therefore, there is a little time for all to take calculated decisions. Also, the strategies and policies that worked well in the past can be obsolete today. One of the visible example is the COVID-19 crisis. The crisis had changed the landscape of work culture, and leaders had to find new strategies to fight the storm overnight. And that's what and that's what we are doing right now. Di po ba mga teachers, mga co-teachers, mga co-leaders? Sa panahon po natin ngayon, sabi ko nga po sa aking sarili, before yung face-to-face, I can sleep well at night. But this time, kahit gabi na po, hindi pa rin po ako matulog ng maaga because I really have to accommodate everything. Kailangan ko i-accommodate ang mga parents na keep on asking about the lessons. I really have to be more flexible, understand the situation of each parents, working parents, yung mga parents na nasa bahay lang, but still they have to ask everything regarding the lessons. Now, yun po yung ating situation ngayon. So we really have to face everything with our strong determination. The future of work will always be uncertain and ambiguous. Future events will bring new challenges. Organization now will only thrive into future under the supervision of leaders who can make sense of uncertainty. Then next is our last qualification of a good leader that we must have or that we must possess is empowerment. Great leaders can empower their team members to achieve maximum productivity and organizational success. Empowerment gives the team members equal decision-making opportunities and uses their power of judgment and expertise to develop situations. This builds the sense of individual worth and also employees' commitment towards their organization. Every individual brings their skills and talents to the table that often finds a route to flow. Usually, you would have skillful team members, but lack of guidance and motivation fails to bring them the best. If it is, therefore, on leaders how they foster these skills by empowering them. Good leaders know how to unleash positive traits in others. They understand that only way to do that is by empowering them. Therefore, leaders take it as daily practice to continuously empower people and strengthen them. Again, Bill Gates says, as we look ahead in the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. And to end this report, let me read this statement by Anjak Patak. Every leader has an urge to lead, inspire, and contribute to a greater good. And this is why we need the right leadership qualities to guide us. No one can own all these leadership qualities, and that's very true. It is a consistent effort and self-belief that paves the path. Leaders should therefore be mindful and exercise these leadership skills for sustainable growth. Before we start this morning, there was a question about if leadership skills born or made. I said, and my answer was absolutely both. Of course, because each one of us have the inborn skills of being a leader, but still we need to develop or to find ways or to acquire skills for us uh, to ma-develop palalo para mas mapalawig at mas mapagyaman for us to practice this every day in our daily lives. And that's all for my report. Thank you so much and God bless us
Yes,
all. I
thank you
hope
so
that
much, Marjorie, for the shared knowledge and very inspiring experiences. So we move on to our last group na magdi-discuss this morning. May I call the group of Joel, Jennifer Bautista's group. Your turn now, mga ading ko. Rochelle, with Teacher Rochelle. Are you there? Okay, sige. Go. Thank you.
Ma'am, hindi ba kami ang susunod?
Tumawag po kayo kanina, di naman po kayo sumagot, kaya I thought yan. Ano muna? Sige. Jen, giveaway muna tayo. Si Sina Rose muna. Sina Rose Guillermo muna. Sorry.
Sige po, ma'am.
Ma'am, pasensya na.
Unawa po. I called you kanina, but you did not respond. So I thought of, para will not be wasting some time. So I called some of the reporters na who are ready. Okay, take it away. Sorry, guys. Paki-off muna po yung mga audio natin. Please. Thank you.
Ma'am, yung mga kagrupo ko po, please. Yung magpresent po ng slide natin. Thank you. Hello? Ma'am Etheline?
Yes, good morning. Sige na, Rose.
Ma'am, wait po natin yung magpresent, ma'am.
Sino yon?
Si ma'am... Wait, ma'am. Si Ma'am Lorraine po, ma'am.
Is she here? Rose,
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, wait
Yes,
lang
ma'am.
po.
Meron, ma'am.
Ma'am, hindi
Okay.
po. Wait lang
Ma'am
po.
Lorraine.
Yes, ma'am. Wait lang po, ma'am.
Asal na karat eh. Asal na, ag-report ako. Asal na.
Ay, hello, ma'am. Ma'am, wait lang po.
Ma'am Lorraine.
I-present ko lang po yung,
Yes.
yung slide natin.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Nakikita na po ba yung slides po?
Yes, Lorraine, nakikita po.
Yes, nakikita mo.
Okay po. Wait lang po. Andito na po ba yung ibang members po? Si Ma'am Sheena Pahardo. Wait lang po.
Ma'am, present.
Si Ma'am Etheline. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, present po.
Si Sir Joel, ah, si Ma'am Rosemary,
Present, ma'am.
at tsaka po si Ma'am Gracie, tsaka si Ma'am Marie Chris po.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay po. Wait lang po, ma'am. So, ayan. Hello po. Ma'am, malinaw po ba yung boses ko po?
Yes, loud and clear na ako.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay po. So, again, good morning to all of you po. So, excuse me. So, I'll be discussing po about the classical leadership po. Okay, but before that po, so let me read po about yung meaning po ng leadership. So, leadership simply means a process or activity of a person to work or think in a particular way. Leaders are valuable assets of an organization. Excuse me po. Umuugong po ba yung boses ko po?
Meron pa po tayong hinihintay na live.
Hello po.
Ma'am Marlene. Ma'am Marlene,
Sorry.
Okay na po. Sorry. Medyo umuugong po ba yung boses ko or malinaw naman po?
Okay na po,
ma'am, okay
ma'am.
po. ma'am.
Okay, so ayan po. Okay, so ulitin ko po ha. So basahin ko muna po yung meaning uli po ng leadership. Okay, so leadership simply means a process or activity of a person to work or think in a particular way. Leaders are valuable assets of an organization because they can make or break the organization through their positive or negative influence. Again, it is a process or activity in which large number of employees in the organization are involved that is driven by a change. So, there are two types of leadership. So, ito nga pong classical leadership and contemporary leadership. So, we are na so sa amin po nasa yung classical leadership. So, classical leadership theory. So it is a traditional theory wherein more emphasis is on the organization rather than the employees working therein. So according to the classical theory, the organization is considered as a machine and the human beings as different components, parts of that machine. So it means po, more on dito sa classical leadership theory po, this is almost on autocratic leadership style. So, ang ibig sabihin po nun ay, in this style po, the leader takes the leading role and works from the front. So, this style po, excuse me. So, in this style, it was the most prevalent leadership style during 1960s to 1980. So, the leader is motivated by his own ego and determines a future plan of action himself. So it takes less advice from the peers or the juniors and try to influence the employees through motivational speech and providing fringe benefits. So in this classical leader style po, the leaders keep little confidence on the subordinates and only likes to direct them as per his own plan. So leadership style refers to a leader's behavior toward group members. So the behavior pattern is that the leader reflects his role as a leader is described as style. So there are four leadership style based on authority. So number one, autocratic leadership. So number two, democratic or participative leadership. Number three, pre-reign or laissez-faire leadership. And last is paternalistic leadership. So these four leadership style po will be discussed of my group mates. So tinatawagan ko po si Miss Sheena Pajardo to be discussed the autocratic leadership. Hello, ma'am.
Good morning po, ma'am. Hindi daw po ako pwedeng mag-report according kay Ma'am Marilyn kasi ang na-enroll ko po is Med 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Ma'am, I will take the report for the autocratic leadership.
Okay po, ma'am. Sige, thank you po, Ma'am Rosemary. Okay po. Okay, so ayan po, once again po, may I call Ma'am Rosemary Guillermo to discuss the autocratic leadership.
Slide, ma'am.
Okay po.
So we begin on the first leadership style, the autocratic leadership, wherein we can see here that the leaders is in the middle and surrounded by the members. Next, ma'am. So it relies on coercion in its style is paternalism, arbitrariness, and command and compliance. The autocratic leader gives orders which must be obeyed by the subordinates. So ibig sabihin nun, the leader will give the one who going to lead is only the leader. Then the leader will going to give and command the members of the things they're going to do. So ibig sabihin nito, yung pinaka style ng leadership nito, yung halimbawa po nito yung school head natin. So yung school head, sasabihin niya kung anong gagawin ng mga members. Yun po, parang nakaset na siya ng mga gagawin ng mga bawat isa. According to dun I quote yung sinabi po share ni Ma'am Leia kanina to her report na every teacher has a part sa school. May kanya-kanyang coordinate. So, ibig sabihin, yung pinaka-school head, nag-isip na siya kung ano yung itatakal ng isang teacher to make yung bang mas maganda po yung magiging ng process ng para sa kagandahan po ng school, lalo-lalo po sa mga mag-aaral. Lalo na po sa nitong time of pandemic. Next slide, please. Ay, hindi na po sa
Okay
akin
na
to,
po.
sorry.
Okay na ba?
And additional po pala on the autocratic leadership, there is an advantage and disadvantages po. It is the speed with which decision can be made. The leader does not have to obtain group members' approval before deciding. So, ibig sabihin nito, yung pinaka-leader, hindi na niya kailangan yung opinion or idea ng mga member. So, ibig sabihin, itong advantage lang niya, hindi siya magiging time consuming. So, ibig sabihin, directly na nakaset na lahat, ang gagawin na lang ng member is to obey. The disadvantage naman po, first, autocratic leadership does hurt group morale. Group morale rather. Kasi sa isang organization, mas maganda po kasi, for example po sa school natin, alam ko pong naranasan po natin na yung mga school head natin, there are some school head gumagawa ng open forum o kaya nagkakaroon siya ng getting ideas sa mga ibang teacher, baka mas lalong effective at mas lalong maganda yung magiging result ng gagawin yung decision in an important matter. Lalong-lalo na sa mga dapat gawin po, take for example po nang simula po ng pandemic, nagkaroon po ng really great changes sa ating pong educational system. So nakita po natin doon na yung mga school head natin, hindi sila nag-stand lang sa kanilang mga kaisipan, but they go on with the cooperation idea of one another. Then number 2 na disadvantage po, members may resent how decisions are made and thus support them in only a minimal fashion. So kagaya din po nung explain kanina, parang magiging kunti lang po yung idea, hindi siya magiging broad. And kagaya po rin po ng halimbawa ng isang napaka-importanting gagawin o decision, kung hindi po to na pinag-usapan o na nagkaroon ng idea ang bawat isa, the implementation will be failed. Hindi po magiging maganda ang pagkaka-post po o gawa po ng mga gagawin. And it will be going to be hindi siya magiging magandang success sa mga po sa mga objectives o kaya hindi mamimit yung objectives po o yung main goal ng mga dapat gawin. Yun lang po. Salamat.
Okay, so maraming salamat po, Ma'am Rosemary Guillermo. Now, so next reporter po is si Ma'am Etilyn Halog po. Will be discussed about the democratic leadership po. Ma'am Etilyn.
Okay, ma'am. Democratic leadership. Democratic leadership, also known as participative leadership or shared leadership. Kabaliktaran naman ito ng autocratic leadership. Sa autocratic leadership is kung ano yung desisyon na ng leader, yun na yung susundin. Samantalang yung democratic leadership naman, the leader or the school head will ask his or her teacher naman with their opinion or yung mga ideas. After that, magko-come up na sila ng decision making and i-acknowledge ng school head yung mga ideas ng kanyang mga teachers. Democratic leadership is usually gives instruction only after consulting with the group. He sees to it that policies are worked out in group discussion and with the acceptance of the group. This type of leadership can apply to any organization from private business to school to government. Everyone is given the opportunity to participate ideas are exchanged freely and discussion is encouraged. While the democratic process tends to focus on group equality and free flow of ideas. The leader group is still there to offer the guidance and control. The democratic leader is charged with deciding who is in the group and who gets to contribute to the decisions that are made. They found that the democratic leadership is one of the most effective types and leads to higher productivity, better contributions from group members, and increased group morals. Sabi nga nila, pag madaming ideas, mas ang kagandahan nun, we will come up with a good and very precise na reports. Kasi kung may idea yung isang kasama mo na mas maganda sa idea mo, pwede mo itong idagdag sa mga reports mo kung sakali man as a school head yung mga ideas ng teacher mo, i-consolidate mo yon para magkaroon ka ng good at mas widen yung mga informations because nagtulungan kayo as part in your school. Yun po yung democratic leadership. Kaya mas maganda po yung ini-encourage din minsan na magkaroon ng mga open forum when it comes to decision making para sa ganun marinig po natin yung mga ideas din ng mga teachers, especially sa mga school heads po kung may mga importante silang itatakal na reportings or kaya mga gagawin nila sa school na kailangan ng mga guidance din ng kanilang teachers with the help of the guidance na din po ng school head. Yun lang po yung democratic leadership.
Okay, thank you very much po, Ma'am Etilyn Halog. Okay, now po, tinatawan ko po si Sir Joel Imbudo para po sa discussion natin sa pre-rent leadership style po. Sir Joel?
Okay, good morning po. Narinig niyo po ba?
Yes, sir. Malinaw
Okay.
po.
So sa free reign leadership naman po, kayong tinatawag natin na laissez-faire leadership is a type of leadership style in which leaders are hands-off and allow group members to make the decisions. Leaders set the objectives and employees are free to do whatever is appropriate to accomplish those objectives. Okay, next slide. Free reign leadership, ibalik po natin muna dun sa isa. Okay. The leadership style which allows maximum freedom to followers may be called free reign leadership. It gives employees a high degree of independence in their operations. Okay. Okay. So next slide po. A free reign leader completely abdicates his leadership position to give all responsibility of most of the work entrusted to him to the group, which he is supposed to lead, limiting his authority to maintain the contact of the group with persons outside the group. Okay, example po natin dito yung sa buong district po ng school, ano. Okay. Sa isang district po, mayroon pong district supervisor. So yung district supervisor po, hindi po siya palaging pumupunta sa mga po. Okay. Kung may gusto pong kung may mga objective po na nais na gawin yung district supervisor sa kanyang district, tatawagin niya yung kanyang mga school heads, magkakandak ng meetings, at yung mga school heads mismo ang gagawa ng paraan kung paano nila i-apply yung, kaya paano nila i-attain yung objectives na nais na mangyari noong district supervisors po. Okay. Tulad po ngayong pandemic po, ano. Okay. Kung paano i-implement yung pagkakaroon ng health yung implementing ng health protocols po sa schools. Okay, lalo na po kapag sa pag-retrieve, okay, at pag-distribute ng mga modules, lalo na ngayon dito sa aming district po ay nasa modular po kami, ano. Okay. So, hindi na kailangang sabihin pa o puntahan pa ng district supervisor yung bawat schools na kanyang nasasakupan kung ano yung dapat na gawin doon sa schools. Okay. Dahil sinabi na niya sa kanyang mga school heads kung ano yung dapat na gawin. Basta yung kung paano ang kanyang gagawin para ma-implement yung safety health protocol sa kanyang schools. Okay. Depende na yan sa school heads kung paano niya gagawin. Ang mahalaga ay kung paano niya i-accomplish yung nais mangyari noong district supervisor na maprotektahan yung mga teachers sa banta ng COVID-19 po, ano. Tama po ba? Okay. So, hindi lahat ng desisyon ng gagawin sa school ay sasabihin palagi ng district supervisor. Nasa school heads na ang magdidesisyon kung ano yung dapat gawin sa kanyang school para maprotektahan yung kanyang mga personnel laban sa COVID. Okay. Another example dyan ay yung paglalagay ng triads, school triads. Okay. Kung paano i-implement ng school heads doon sa kanyang school yung pagkakaroon ng triads doon. At kung ano pa yung mga maisip niyang paraan para yung pagpunta ng mga parents. Okay, lalo na pag kumukuha ng mga modules, ano. Okay, kung paano malilimit yung pagpasok ng mga parents sa school nang hindi sabay-sabay na nagpupunta dun sa school. Okay, yun din. Nasa decision na yan ng school heads. At hindi na kailangan pang itatanong sa kanyang district supervisor kung ano yung kanyang gagawin sa school. Nasa decision na ng school heads kung ano yung kanyang dapat na gawin. Example din, okay, kapag may nag-message doon sa school heads na kanyang teacher, ano, okay, for example, yung kanyang teacher ay nag-message doon sa kanyang school heads na siya ay may lagnat o kaya ay may nararamdaman na hindi maganda, ano, hindi na kailangan pang tanungin ng school heads sa kanyang district supervisor kung papapasukin yung kanyang teacher. May decision na yung school heads na hindi papasukin yung kanyang teacher dahil baka mahawa yung kanyang mga mga kasama na, no? Okay, so yun ang example din doon. Nasa school heads na yung decision, yung magdi-decide na kaagad kung ano yung nararapat na gawin at hindi na kailangan pang itatanong sa kanyang district supervisor dahil yung district supervisor baka kung sasabihin niya palagi yung kanyang gagawin, may mga pagkakataon din na yung district supervisor ay busy sa kanyang trabaho. Okay. So yung responsibility sa buong school na ay hinahayaan na gawin ng kanyang mga school heads. Okay. Tama po ba? Okay. So, halimbawa din dyan yung sinabi ni Madam Marilyn kanina, yung experience niya doon sa kanyang dating station. Okay. Yung nagkaroon ng problema doon sa local government at saka sa school. Okay. Yung pag yung hindi pagpayag po ni Madam Marilyn doon sa nais mangyari ng LGU doon sa barangay, doon sa kanilang kahilingan. Okay. Yun po ay tama pong desisyon ang ginawa po ni Madam na hindi basta-basta po nila tinayagan doon sa nais mangyari ng LGU. Dahil kung malalaman po ninyo lahat hindi po lahat nag-i-stay ang sa kanyang station. May bilang lang po ng taon kung na nagtatagal yung school heads doon sa school. Kung pinayagan po ni Madam Marilyn yung kagustuhan ng barangay na ma-donate yung part ng lot doon sa barangay, maaaring sa susunod na administration doon sa school baka magkaroon ng problema dahil pinayagan ni Madam Marilyn kung yung nais ng barangay. So, good decision yung ginawa ni Madam Marilyn doon. Pero, hindi pa rin naalis doon yung role ng district supervisor. Dahil sinabi po ni Madam na lumapit din po siya doon sa kanyang immediate supervisor, yung district supervisor, para humingi ng advice kung tama ba yung kanyang ginawa. Okay. At doon po, nakita po at nasubok po ng district supervisor na yung kanyang school heads ay marunong tumindig sa kanyang sarili. Hindi niya hinayaang basta-basta makuha o maibigay yung gusto ng barangay kahit na yung pag-initan siya o may masabing masama sa kanya, basta yung pinanindigan niya ay yung sa tingin niya ay tama. Okay. At doon papasok yung free rein leadership. Dahil hindi lahat ng desisyon sa school ay kailangan na ipaalam sa district supervisor. Hindi nakikialam yung district supervisor sa mga usapin sa pagpapalakad ng school. Nandyan ang supervisor para mag-guide at mag-advise sa kanyang mga school heads kung ano yung tama nilang gawin. So yun po ang example ng free rein leadership.
Okay, sir. Salamat po, Sir Joel. Okay po. Sige. Next reporter po again, si Ma'am Rosemary Guillermo to discuss the paternalistic leadership po. Ma'am Rosemary.
Okay, ma'am. Go on, ma'am. Thank you for the slide. So we are now here in the fourth leadership style, the paternalistic leadership. The leader assumes that his function is paternal or fatherly. Ito yung this kind of leadership is I highly appreciated with our school head. Yung school head po namin kasi meron siyang ganitong kind of leadership. As of now, sad to say kasi nag-retire na siya nung November 5. But still, nakikita ko sa kanya yung pagiging tatay na dito sa ganitong klase ng leadership. And his attitude is that of treating the relationship between the leader and the group as that of family, with the leader as the head of the family. Opo, ganito po yung kanyang ginagawa. Siya yung tumatayong pinakaama ng school namin, and we are his family. Nakita namin doon na hindi kami pinapabayaan, hindi niya kami hinahayaan sa mga ginagawang gusto lang namin gawin. But still, close by maganda yung relationship ng bawat isa sa amin. If someone does nagkaroon ng pagkakamali, hindi niya ito abrupt na kinokorek in the face ng bawat isa sa amin. Nagkakaroon siya ng talagang nirerespeto niya yung mga teacher niya. They go in a secret place at doon sila nag-uusap. And then if ever na ganitong mangyayari na naman, yun po, humihingi siya ng idea sa bawat isa sa amin, kung sinong magka-cancel sa concern na teacher na yon. And he works to help, guide, protect, and keep his followers happily working together as a member of a family. Opo, talagang yung bang kagaya po ng isang tahanan, di ba? Kung ang isang tatay ay not family oriented, hindi po magiging maganda ang management ng isang tahanan. Hindi niya alam i-handle kung paano dapat i-guide yung kanyang asawa, kung paano niya i-motivate yung niyang mga anak, how to deal with those sa mga kinaharap nila. So, this kind of leadership, napakabuti po. And it's really, na-experience ko po ito sa aming school head. Next slide, please. He provides them with good working condition and employer services. Opo, ganito po talaga yung as experience po sa school head namin. And generally, naniniwala po akong most of the school heads have this kind of leadership. This style has been successful, particularly in Japan, because its culture background. It is said that employees under such leadership will work harder out of gratitude. Yes, ganito, maganda po yun. Yung sabi nga, nung kanina, doon sa qualification for leadership, nakikita po natin doon na talagang a good leader, makikita natin doon yung pagiging, yung bang hindi ka mahirapan gawin yung pinapagawa niya, hindi ka mahirapan ma-motivate sa pinapagawa sa'yo. As you can see, the leader na, yung pagiging leader niya, good leader niya, hindi ka nga hihindi that even at time na, may time na very hectic yung schedule natin, yung mga kagaya ko na teacher, na kapag may sinabi yung leader mo na, ma'am, ganitong gawin mo, ganito. Even though na gusto mo siya ng wag mong gawin, but you can see with him how he motivate you, how he encourage you to do the things beyond the things that you can do. Parang bangay, mas lalo ka pang nagaganahan na gawin yun for the sake of the goodness of the school, lalong-lalo sa mga learners, and also with the relationship ng bawat isa sa atin with the school head. Next slide, please. This mode of leadership produces good and quick results if the followers are highly educated and brilliant and have a sincere desire to go ahead and perform responsibilities. Opo, tama po yun. And yun sabi ko ka nga po, kung hindi, sana po hindi na ako with my own experience, hindi na po sana ako itutuloy yung master ko because I already gained my ano to yung master ko po sa ibang school, yung academic requirement natapos ko na po. And then suddenly, sabi niya sa akin, go, you go ma'am, para mas maganda. Kasi hindi naman po that I'm aiming for yung bang tataas yung sweldo mo or you got promoted because one of the qualification is that you need to elevate your knowledge para mas lalo kang ma-promote in the side of career natin ito. Hindi po yon kundi sinabi niya sa akin, go ma'am, I can see on you na mas lalo kang magiging maganda kasi magiging maganda po yung ating gagawin sa ating mga trabaho if we have additional or ma-refresh po ang mind natin to gain more knowledge sa mga kakaharapin po natin. Lalong-lalo na po ngayon that we have here at the second year of pandemic. Parang bang mas lalo pong may madidevelop sa atin how to deal with yung mga gagawin po natin. Lalong-lalo na po sa teaching natin ngayon na yung bang mas lalo tayong we grab more responsibility, we grab more challenges, we grab more yung bang mga gagawin natin. Because yung bang yung pinaka-boss na natin ang nagpupursige na nagpupush sa atin, nagli-lead sa atin, nag-guide sa atin sa ating mga gawin. Yung bang napakasarap po isipin, napakasarap pong tanggapin na meron ka pong isa dyan na hindi kanya tinitignan as a teacher only, hindi kanya tinitignan as an instrument only, pero tinitignan kanya as a great and be a good influence sa mga iba. And it will be a good product din po ng school. Kasi makikita po, di ba, it's very here to na napakaganda pong pakinggan na, uy, yung eskwelahan na ito, they are tapos na silang lahat ng MA. And for that comment, parang makikita na, uy, maganda yung magiging mangyari sa mga estudyante, magiging maganda yung mga learning ng mga batang yun kasi yung mga teacher nandun, they are highly qualified or mayroon silang mataas na kaalaman regarding with that sa teaching. Yun po. Next slide po. Ay, hindi na po yata sa akin. Yun po, salamat.
Okay po. Thank you so much po, Ma'am Rosemary. And for our last reporter po, may I call Ma'am Gracie Dulay to be discuss the leadership rules, function, and 5 function of effective school leaders. So, Ma'am Gracie Dulay, hello po.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay po.
Okay, so my topic is about the leadership rules. So leadership rules combining leaders' objectives represented by subordinate. So it means that leaders use social influence to maintain support and order with their subordinate. So what is called when a leader influences subordinates? When a leader influences subordinates, it is called downward power. We can also think of this as someone having power over someone else. On the other hand, subordinates can also exercise upward power by trying to influence decision of their leader. So another also is arousing an enthusiasm in followers. So in here, when it comes to leadership, enthusiasm can often be more important than professional skill because personal success in all forms of leadership often boils down to your enthusiasm. So, what are the words that we have used when we, uh, for example, giving the teacher to become more enthusiastic or sila magiging masigasig. So, for example, here is the eagerness, excitement,
inspire, simulating, interested, and also passion. So enthusiastic leaders are able to make vision come alive. They do this by being inspirational, passionate, and by breathing life into the vision to their enthusiasm and energy. So enthusiasm is infectious and makes leader more credible. It's the exact opposite of being dull and boring. It's the enthusiastic transmission of energy that brings a vision to life for a leader's followers. Okay, another also is the externalizing the qualities and capabilities of organization members. So it means that resources are the organization's assets, knowledge, and skills. Capabilities can be defined as organization's ability to effectively make use of resources, for example, in the school. Um, Both views seems to complement each other, although dependent on the organization's objectives and its situation, one may be more relative than the other. So next, ma'am, uh, functions of leadership. So number one is to combine objectives represented by them with the objectives of their subordinates. So in here, every organization or in every school has its own purpose and objectives. Organizing is the function employed to achieve the overall goals of the organization or in the school. Like, for example, isn't it that we have our own vision, mission, and objectives in our school? So, number two, the implementation of common goals allows organization members to achieve their personal objectives. So it means that um, goals help define a school's purpose or assist its teachers' growth and achieves its objectives. Setting specific organizational goals can also help a school measure their organization's progress and determine the tasks that must be improved to meet those goals in the school. Another also uh, organizational goals are strategic objectives that a school management should establish to outline expected outcomes and guide teachers' effort. Next is number three, arousing enthusiasm and individual approach to organizational objectives are strong incentives to act. So this one, we are more focused on motivation incentives. For example, in the teachers, incentives to motivate the teachers or the employees. So, what are those positive incentives? For example, are those incentives which provide a positive assurance for fulfilling the needs and wants of the teachers. Positive incentives generally have an optimistic attitude behind, and they are generally given to satisfy the psychological requirements of the teachers or the employees. For example, promotions, 'di ba? Meron tayong mga ganun sa promotions ngayon sa DepEd. Praising, recognition of, for example, sa yung mga ginagawa natin in the school. perks and allowances, and others. Next po, next slide po. So, there are 5 functions of effective school leaders. So, the first one is shaping a vision of academic success for all students. So, this it means that although they say it in it different ways, that researcher who have examined education leadership agree that uh, being an effective principal are responsible for establishing a school-wide vision of commitment to high standard and the success of all students. So, nasa ano po yung sa not only the teachers but also in the principal or the leaders. Next, number 2, creating climate hospitable to education. As a leaders or as an effective principals, we need to ensure that the school allows children to put learning at the center of their daily activities. For example, is ano ba yung mga yon? Healthy school environment or child-friendly school. Uh, is characterized by basic like safety and orderliness in the school, as well as tangible qualities, for example, supportive, responsive sa mga teachers and other stakeholders. Attitude towards the children and sense by teachers that they are part of the community of professionals focus on good instructions. Next, number 3 is the cultivating leadership in others. So in here, a broad and long-standing consensus in leadership theory holds that leaders in all walks of life and all kinds of organization, public or private, need to depend on others to accomplish the group's what the purpose and the need to encourage the development of leadership across the organization or in the schools. So in the schools are no different. Principals who get high marks from teacher for creating a strong climate for instruction in the schools also receive higher marks than other principal for spurring leadership in the faculty. So it means that a central part of being a great leader is cultivating leadership in others. So the learning focus is that the principal is bent on helping teachers improve their practice, either directly or with the aid of the school leaders, like for example, yung mga department chair or program chair and other teaching expert o yung mga master teachers. Next is number 4. Number number 4, improving instruction. So, according to University of Washington, researcher found that effective principals works relentlessly to improve achievement by focusing on the quality of instruction. They help define and promote high expectations. They attack teacher in isolation and fragmented effort, and they connected directly on teachers and the classroom. So being an effective leaders or principals also encourage continual professional learning. Like for example, for example sa seminars or yung pagkuha natin ng mga uh, sa mga trainings. They emphasize research based strategies to improve teaching and learning, and initiate this discussion about instructional approach. So another also is yung mga ginagawa natin mga action research o yung proposal for our schools. So in here, the central part of being a great leader is uh, focus on the practice of or the the teaching expert. Another also, number 5, is managing people, data, and processes. So in here, in the great scheme of things, one of the researcher is school may be relatively small organization, but um, their leaders or their leadership challenges are far from small or simple. To get the job done, being effective leaders need to make good use of resources at hand. So, in other words, they have to be good leaders or good managers. So, when it comes to data, um, as a principal or as an effective principal, try to draw the most from statistic and evidence, or having learn to ask useful questions of the informations, to display it in ways that tell compelling stories, and to use it to promote collaborative inquiry among teachers. This data means not only to pinpoint the problems, but to understand the nature and causes. That's why it is important to have to managing the people and data the processes. So that's it for our report in classical leadership. Ma'am Anna.
Okay, thank you so much po, Ma'am Gracie. Okay, ma'am. So ito na po yung pinaka-last topic po namin regarding po sa classical leadership po. So once again, thank you so much po for your listening po.
Mhm. So thank you so much, guys, for your indulgence to stay entire duration ng class natin. Actually, very particular ako sa mga attendance ninyo kasi like what I've said, we have limited time, contact time. So please be patient enough to join your classes kasi alam like what I've said, I don't want you to finish your masters without learning something. Kahit konti, at least you have gained something. So I really appreciate those who find time to join and listen to all the reports. And before we, so announcement lang po, we'll be having meetings on this date, December 12 and December 20. So we'll be having two this coming December so that January, we'll have one class na lang po. And by that time, medyo relax na. I hope na tawag dito, let us bear with one another kasi alam ko ang dami-dami kasing work. Kaya, yun din, I really decided that we just have our class half day kasi ang hirap talagang umupo the whole day. Kaya, yun ang ginawa natin. Nonetheless, let us all maximize our time. And next meeting, we'll be having Sir Harold Sabusora and those who were not able to have the report today, that's me and me po. And before we end, I would like to leave 4 P's of a great leader, school leader. Number 1 is prayer. Number 1 P is prayer. Yes. I hope that I believe that a good leader prays a lot, prays pray for God's leading in all her undertakings, whatever plans for the good of the school and for the good of the society, and most of all for the good of the learners. Another thing is, as a leader, you need to have your passion in everything you do, because if you put your passion in all your undertakings, your work become leisure. Ayan. Your work will become leisure at nagiging magaan po siya sa inyo. And then, another P is perseverance. Ayan. Perseverance meaning you need to be patient in all the things that you do. Have that be patient enough in learning things. It doesn't mean that if you are an intelligent one, hindi mo na kailangan ang idea ng iba, ideas ng no. As a leader, you need to fill in your mind with good things, and you have to be patient leading other people. We have different upbringings, we have different characters, but then always hold your temper. Ayan. Please find time, be patient enough in knowing the real story, why this particular person seems impatient at times. Ayan. Medyo you have to know the whole story before you judge others. Find time to know the real cause bakit ganito ang isang tao. Yon. And the last P is pray. Let us continue to praise our God in all the things we do. Praise Him that we are here in this kind of work. I know that we have so many dreams na hindi natupad, but always remember that God has a purpose in our lives. So let us praise Him, because in spite of the difficulties that we are having, God is always in control. Okay? Learn to praise your people who work with you in all circumstances. Kahit little ano lang yan, little achievements lang yan, may you learn to celebrate everyone's simple accomplishment, because by doing that, by acknowledging one's effort, it only means that you give importance to your people, and that leads to harmonious working relationship and good uh, outcomes of all the undertaking, all projects undertaking. So I hope that you continue to praise God, praise all simple accomplishments, and let us all have that heart. Let us all, my prayers that you'll be a leader with a heart. So lead with a prayer, work with passion, with perseverance, and always work with faith. So that ends our class for this day. Hope to see you again next meeting, December 12th, and be safe. My prayers to everyone. Be
Thank you,
an
ma'am.
inspiration to everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. God
Thank
bless.
you, ma'am. Salamat po.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Salamat.
Thank you,
Thank you po.
Okay.
See you
Thank you,
next
ma'am.
week.
Thank you po.
Ma'am,
Mga ma'ams, thank you.
ma'am, wait. I have a question po.
Ano yun?
About po dun sa requirement po natin sa research, paano
Yes.
po yun, ma'am? Di ba for research po siya?
Opo.
Researches?
Mali-lesson po yun. I-include niyo
Um,
sa topics ninyo. That is already considered -1 na kayo. If you have 2 topics, incorporate niyo yan. Dalawa na lang ang gagawa niyo ng research ay output ninyo. Okay? Para ma-lessen yung burden. Happy? Everybody happy?
dalawa na lang.
Thank you,
Okay po.
ma'am.
Thank you po.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. nyo lang ako for sample part.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
223 that
Yes, yes, yes.
kasi ganito yung plano. Kasi nauna ka na balik ka dito ng process mo. Mag-outing tayo. Yung pamasahin mo, kung bahala ko. Pagbalik ko dito. Paano bahala? Tapos yung 1.5 na bibigay ko sa'yo, ano mo yun, pwede mo yung babayaran. Tapos na yung sasaksa mo.
Lang, may savings pa naman ako, di ba? Ano na lang, 1.5 na lang. Kasi hiram ko yung 5. iiyak? Ba't ako iiyak? Tapos na, let's go.
Gabi pa yun. Relax. Hindi. Tapos na kasi yung
Saan ba? Gusto mo pa lang, ha? Ano magparamdam?
Sige.
Ano magparamdam?